Hey, good morning, good afternoon, whatever the hell time of day it is for everyone. Hey, what's up? I'm Nick Barrow. This is the Diogenes Club on Sick of the Shit publications. Hey, well, yeah, a little bit of tech issues for everybody. How's it going, y'all? It's the Diogenes Club. I'm Nick Barrow, not your dad. Joined by
Diogenes. Diogenes. Diogenes.
Where are the men? Where are the men? Where are the men? Well, we've got three of them. We got Nick
Yeah.
Barrow, Dr.
Evan's under the weather,
That guy.
everybody. He
That
has a
guy.
doctor's note.
Dr. Eric Lulov, giving
Hey, I
Evan a
made the top row
doctor's note.
today.
And then down there below, Walter Ryan, level 36 magic user. What is up, guys? It's a fucking hell of a day and a hell of a week. How's everyone doing?
Yeah.
Gee, where to begin? It's only Thursday, and it's been like, I feel like we're like living in constant chaos. It's just constant chaos.
Yep.
No. I disagree. There's no chaos. What are you talking about? We haven't done anything chaotic recently.
I got some land in Saudi Arabia, I'll sell you.
Oh gosh.
Oh, you got an island? Do you have an island in Iran you'd be willing to sell me?
It's going to be shortly.
I'm sure we could invade.
I have one that's currently unpopulated, but roughly in the next week, it might have a population between 3,000 to 5,000.
Might actually be more because I'd say between 5,000 to 8,000 maybe. Is what I hear, because we've got two MEUs, the 82nd Airborne.
Oh god. Yeah.
And thus our next 20-year war begins.
Thus we begin again, and we have no good money for us, nothing for the American people, just profits for tech contractors,
did you see the new debt number that came out this morning?
What?
Did you see the new debt number that came out this morning?
No.
48.
I think that's a fake number anyway, so I don't. Trillion. How many trillion?
48.7 trillion. He put the debt 10 trillion in about a year and a half, in about a year and 14 months.
Wow. Hey, interesting how.
And we're insolvent.
Who's going to pay for all that?
Totally insolvent.
You know who's going to pay for all that?
Our kids. Yeah.
Not the billionaires.
No, our great grandchildren.
Yeah. Our great. Yeah. And all the profits for Russia.
But it's okay to give Russia, ease up the sanctions on Russia so you can keep bombing Kyiv.
Yeah. And tell them where the soldiers are, which I've heard they've done.
The two Lego boxes right there. There's probably a breaker in there.
Oh, Lego creation in the background.
Lego creation in the background. My son's looking for one of there's little breakers. That can help you take apart Legos so you don't hurt your fingers and have to bite them. Because as kids, we had to have fingernails and pull them apart and get balsa wood slivers and push them through and figure out how to get Legos apart. Nowadays, they have cool little tools that take them apart for you. And so you don't have to worry about it. And
technology.
The technic pieces are
You should see what we have in the surgical school.
You want to do this a little louder?
Cool little instruments we have.
Can you be a little louder?
Have you ever looked at old surgical instruments at museums and stuff? And it's like, oh my god. It's like stuff you're like
made out of cast iron.
Yeah. Teeth and
This used to be a stapler in the 2000s. Now we use it now to do complete extractions.
Oh man.
I remember having to do hole punching and stuff as a kid and punch my papers so that they could fit into the binders so that I could have the protectors and ready to go for class so that I could everything's organized. And
this is
don't get me started on scissors. I'm left-handed, so don't get me started on scissors.
This can become an emergency bone cutting forceps.
Oh god.
God, that would fucking hurt. Please don't do that to somebody.
That's why you give them arnica. You give them arnica before they're fine.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Don't
all
worry.
Comes on the itemized list.
Better living through anesthesia.
No anesthesia required. Open heart surgery, no anesthesia required. Psh, you don't be weak.
This is gonna hurt.
Don't be so weak.
This hasn't hurt me in 20 years.
Oh.
Yeah, as the doctor, I've never been hurt by these tools. Right. So what do you mean?
Yeah.
They can't be
my other favorite question is, how many of these have you done? It's my first one. I swear to God. Never done it before.
Never tried it before. You are my test subject.
Yeah.
I'm going to just
brand new procedure that was invented 150 years ago that I'm doing for the first time right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the oldest procedure that you still do. How old is it? I'm curious.
Side effects presented by Nick Perro.
Are there procedures that have endured that long, though? I'm curious about that.
Oh, yeah.
A serious question.
I mean,
really, that are still unchanged?
Oh, listen, amputating an extremity hasn't changed since the Civil War.
That's fascinating. Yeah.
You know, the same
still a bone saw, like a bone saw.
Like the saws they used in the Civil War were like, like timber saws, right?
Yeah.
But what came out of that was an invention by a surgeon in Germany named Gigley, and he created what's called the Gigley saw. So it's basically a thin wire that has barbs
Poorly
on it.
named, yeah.
That can literally, and you literally just kind of do this. And it's
so it's basically like a metal saw that you would use in a wood shop or like for carpenter's tools.
Yeah.
I probably have the exact same tool.
It's similar,
at home,
right? Except
or a very similar
ones that
tool.
I use are sterile.
Oh yeah,
by
mine
the FDA.
Are not sterile. No. Mine are brought to you by Irwin Marbles or something similar, and they are not.
Today's surgical instruments are provided by Timber Lumber.
What do you do with the bones? The bone dust. Where does the bone dust go? Do you have a vacuum that sucks up the bone dust?
Well, no, because now we're using power saws, so like it just liquefies with saline.
Oh, and then that is extracted, or that just goes right in?
No, we just get rid of it. It gets suction. We use suction and basically.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
that's actually what they use to feed RFK Jr. so that he can stay alive, and it's what's used for. Yeah, it's used for Donald Trump. Yeah, amputee meat. It's great for longevity and healthful recovery. Brought to you by Vladimir Putin, Donald Trump, and the Epstein
We've
class.
secretly replaced RFK's table salt with bone salt.
Bone salt. Oh my god, that would be so fucked up.
Human bone salt.
Oh my god, that would be so fucked up. Okay,
this looks like barbecue sauce. However, we've secretly replaced it with bear juice.
Bear juice. Rotting bear carcass from the forest, from the Central Park of New York. Find yours today.
It's not imported olive oil from Greece. This is bear urine. Just drink it.
Yeah, just drink it. Just drink it. Yeah.
Deer piss in a bottle. Smell like deer. You are a doe anyway.
You laugh this year. 3 months they'll be teaching this in public schools as like the actual reality.
So my inside Washingtonians are basically telling me he's next on the chopping block.
Really?
Yeah.
Seems like a lot are next.
But the hit that the government took from Judge Murphy at the First District Boston Federal Court, striking down all the nominations to the ACIP and the vaccination changes that were all done basically illegally.
Okay.
Was a little bit too much for Trump to take the big L on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
he doesn't like big L's. He doesn't like big bosses.
The scarier prospect of all this is the fact that Dr. Oz would become the acting CMS secretary, which is like a fucking disaster.
Gross.
Kind of like being banned on TikTok, right, Nick?
Yeah,
So hey, we started a little late today because I didn't realize I had to turn off the channel that is now disconnected on my restream. So for those who don't know, we broadcast here on Substack, Twitch, YouTube, and had been broadcasting on TikTok until I got my first violation on Tuesday because Walter was talking about election integrity and said something that the TikTok gods do not like and did not want us to put out there. That Walter didn't even say the moment that they captured. I watched the whole little clip and I'm going to see if I can download it and capture it and download it so that I can show it to everyone on this was the clip that TikTok tried to ban me on because it's fucking stupid. Walter, you didn't even say you were like, we just need to talk about election security and safety and integrity. And I was like, what the fuck, Allison?
Wow.
So we are not broadcasting on TikTok today, which is totally fine because fuck you guys. Fuck TikTok and that bullshit. And so we're not broadcasting on them today because they won't let us. And I have not appealed the violation yet or taken their little content moderation course that you have to take when you violate their content rules. I was like, no, thanks. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not in a remedial case study. Like, I signed up to be a user. You can just take the clip down or not. Like, okay. But so I got my first social media ban on TikTok, which I am kind of proud of.
It was me that got the ban. It sounds
you helped us get the ban, Walter. You and Natasha were talking at the moment. It had you and Natasha talking about the election
Walter had
stuff.
Something to do with it.
Yeah.
It's always Walter's fault. Walter, we can blame Walter.
My fault. Yeah, I will not be constrained in what I say. By the platforms.
He's had got Nick banned off of TikTok.
What? Yeah. Well, once they ban me, it makes me want to form a TikTok site, and all I do is talk about election fraud, but using other words. Like, how long will it take me to get banned on here if I'm just like,
you should.
I want to go to the menu at Denny's and pick what I want on the menu. But who is the person who is reading the menu that I filled out? Like, talk about it completely in metaphors for just hours and hours until I get banned.
Election Fraud Metaphors by Walter Ryan. A bedtime story.
Oh, man. I'm born for this shit. I always talking. I don't say the words I mean ever. Just casting spells.
Just magic. So hey, we're only broadcasting on three channels today because TikTok said fuck you. And so 2 finger salute to you, TikTok. Thank you.
Yeah, tick and talk.
Have a great day.
Yeah, there they are.
Tick,
the 2 finger
talk. Motherfucker. Tick tock.
Have that tattooed right on there. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Ellison, I got a message for you. Tick and talk.
Yeah. Fucking free speech. Oh man. Well,
so what is free speech?
Again, here's the thing. So Nick, if you had your choice, I'm going to ask you a question that you asked me when I did my Intelligent Masculinity interview with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that we're in a different position now than we were 2 months ago, right? So the question is, if you had the unlimited authority to do day 1, January 21, 2029, okay. Mm-hmm. And you're He-Man with all the power from, Mount Grayskull, right? Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Castle Grayskull.
Castle Grayskull, excuse me. What would you do? Give me 5, because one's too hard to
5 things. Okay, because one is way. There's so many things that need to be fixed.
One just scratches. I only have one question for Mr. Mellon in 27 parts.
Yeah.
Okay, part 1. Answer part 1. I would immediately place institute a wealth cap and wealth minimum for.
You wouldn't seize all their assets first?
Oh, that would be part of instituting a wealth cap and wealth minimum.
Yeah.
That's the broad statement is wealth cap and wealth minimum, meaning we would seize all assets and nationalize systems that are supposed to be government owned.
SpaceX,
and yes,
Palantir.
This does, for those who might question what I'm saying, yes, this does sound authoritarian. No, it is actually the opposite, because it is taking a private entity and turning it into a publicly owned entity rather than turning publicly owned entities.
Public money.
Yeah, we take all of our public money back.
Yeah. We're taking all the public money back that we have given to these assholes. Love you too. Bye. We are.
Love you, asshole.
We're gonna give these. Part of that is we take all their assets. We nationalize SpaceX. We nationalize Starlink. We nationalize
Palantir.
TikTok. Palantir. There's so many platforms that would be nationalized because of it. We would actually have programs again that could do things, because all of our public investment has gone to private corporations that, yes, say they're doing it less expensive, but are just eating the profits that otherwise would have been used for basic research. And so we're just taking back the means for production and the means for distribution from private entities into public ownership. Number 2, I would force Congress to change the law on how many representatives there are in the House of Representatives. We would increase the number of representatives, because the number of representatives has been pegged at 435 since 1929. And the only thing we do now is we proportionally redistribute all of the existing number of representatives between the states. The Constitution originally said for every 30,000 people, one representative. That's the original language of the Constitution. That would equate to like 1,500 or like some like stupid. No, actually, no. I have it on. I've done the math on it. Give me a second. Congressional representatives. So here we go. This is a fun. I did this because I wanted to know like what I was about to say when I said this. We would increase if we were to go back to the original 50 or the original 30,000 people for one representative. We would in the US have 11,394 representatives.
Then nothing would get done.
That's an absurd number. Absurd. Yeah. That is absolutely absurd, and it would not work. There is a proportional system that Lawrence Winterman has talked about and that folks have done before. There's like an actual proportional like mathematical formula that comes out to, based on your population size, here's a proportional representative amount that actually still represents the populace at large. So that would actually peg us closer to 750, 800-ish representatives. So it would be a near doubling of what we have. So that's number two. So those are the first two things, because that would solve a lot of problems.
Well, that was the Reapportionment Act of 1929. And that's what capped the House at 435 seats.
Yes. That's just a law that can be changed.
Right. I mean, that's just, you're right. I mean, so right now it's basically one representative per 761,000 people.
Yes. Which means, say, California, which is really densely populated in a lot of areas compared to, say, Montana. For every representative in Montana, it's closer to every 500,000 people is a representative compared to California, which is close to 750,000 or more people per representative. So there's a 250,000 person difference. That's not representative democracy. There's a proportional system that we could use that would actually proportionalize our representation and make it not parliamentary, because we don't have a parliamentary system in our country. We have preset parties that form coalitions ahead of elections rather than after elections. But that would be what I would do, because that would immediately reduce gerrymandering. That would restrict the ability for corporations to buy candidates, because candidates would have to actually represent a much smaller population and be much more likely that they would get voted out if they started doing stupid shit. It would immediately call for new elections, because they would have to fill all of the empty seats and redo all of the existing seats. So it would fuck up the current Congress, and that would do a lot of really good things. And it would allow folks like Jasmine Crockett to then run again and get back into Congress, because she should be there. She should not be out of Congress at this moment. And it's a fucking shame that we pushed her out. In Texas.
Here's the scary part behind all these numbers. So all of the House seats based on the apportionment and I guess what they call the balance method. So apparently in this 2020 census, the one that the current president thought was, illegal, basically, so New York lost its seat to Minnesota by 89 people. Okay. So New York missed keeping its 27th congressional seat by a priority value of only, I think it was like 0.000004%.
Yeah.
Right. It was really tiny. So the problem is that there's an undercount controversy that they think happened.
Yeah.
And that Florida should have 2 more seats. Texas would have gotten 1, and Minnesota and Rhode Island would have each lost a seat.
See, the problem with the proportional system the problem with the proportional system that we have is we're pitting states against each other on the existing number of representatives.
Right.
And our population keeps increasing, which means we get less representative every time a new person comes into the country. So instead of fixing the problem, which would be increase the number of representatives, because then districts would automatically become smaller. And yes, states like California, Texas, Florida, New York, where large population centers are, would gain seats. And in Texas, that would be a fucking good thing because they're so gerrymandered. It would actually mean that folks win, that Democrats would win, because you can't gerrymander districts when, say, Texas, I don't know how many districts Texas currently has. 38. Texas currently has 38 districts. If Texas went up to 50, let's say, even more, 70, they would have a much harder time gerrymandering districts in population centers because it would require a proportion. It would require a set amount of population. They would absolutely figure out ways to try and undercut the system. But this would make it so much harder that it would force forward progress just by making gerrymandering so much harder that they would be like, fuck, I don't know if I should even try. Like, make it so that they don't want to try because it's so hard to fucking get around. Like, that's what we should be doing. So that's just number 2. Like, the next one is I would then take the money from the wealth cap and wealth minimums and institute full social services across the country. Like, socialized education, socialized healthcare, socialized housing, so that we have 3 of the major basic Maslow's hierarchy of needs met, because the country should be investing in its people because we are worth the investment, and because the smarter we are as a populace, the better and more profitable we are as a country. Because if you invest in things, they get better. The longer you invest in it's just like if they want to run us like a corporation, fine. We're not, because corporations are about earning profit. Governments are about providing services. So, but if they want to run us like a corporation, it is less costly. It is more cost effective to hold on to a single person for 20 years, because you can add smaller increments of training that are less expensive to continually grow their knowledge base than it is to hire new people every 2 to 3 years. The tech companies are fucking stupid because they decided that corporate support and longevity of your employees was no longer important. So they lost long-term talent growth.
Yeah. You guys familiar with
and
Lincoln
that's
Electric?
less expensive in the near term and the long term.
Yeah. Nick, are you familiar with a company called Lincoln Electric?
Lincoln Electric?
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard the name before.
Yeah, so they're basically like a welding company that they do power systems and welding equipment, and they're basically like an engineering firm, right? So they hire for life. So my friend who graduated University of Michigan, bachelor's in engineering, mechanical engineer, back in 1992, has been with Lincoln Electric since 1992. They hired him right out of college, and he's now a district manager in Ohio, runs the Columbus division, and they kept training him and giving him more. And that's what they do. They hire in because they figured that it was cheaper back then. And this is back in the 80s and 90s. They figured this out, versus this. Oh, we're just going to fire all our senior salespeople and that's what I never understood about companies that fire their sales forces. Like, even when it's really rough economic times, don't fire your salespeople. Who's going to bring in the income?
Mm-hmm. Like, who's going to make new sales?
Right. Yeah. It's like you don't fire your people who have relationships to the business community. Like, that's stupid.
It's interesting what you're saying too, like this idea of what we would change. And it's hard because we are all so entrenched in this mechanism of corruption, like it infects your thinking. So we also have to recognize we're really literally not in a place where we could even conceive of a better system yet. We have to make some progress towards a better system. And then we would have to continue to implement changes. And that's actually one of the genius things about the Constitution. It has a framework for that. But yeah, we're up against this. And the term I've come up with this week is the ingenuity of the corrupt, and it's like, and we just have to accept that. We have to start mapping out the ingenuity of the corrupt, because it's like a person who's just trying to get through his life and make money for his family. He has a certain amount of ingenuity, but a person who's trying to cover up some heinous crime all of a sudden they've got this energy beyond what we can even, like Eric, you and I can't even think about it. We can't even imagine it. So that's what
we can
have
imagine it. We just don't do it because it's fucking morally wrong.
Well, it's astonishing though. Like, we're not prepared for it. We're just not prepared for that. Like, decent people are not prepared for the tactics of the corrupt because we can't imagine it because they get so far down the line, but then they impose that thinking on the rest of us.
Well, it's the same reason why. It's the same reason why I don't commit Medicare fraud. Right? Why? I'm afraid to go to jail. I'm afraid of getting an OIG audit. Okay. I don't want the feds creeping around my house and my office. And, I mean, they see what I do anyway. It's not a big, right? But like, there are people who just wake up one morning, decide I'm going to defraud the federal government because it's going to be 5 years before they figure out where I am. Right. I can't live like that. I need to go to bed every night with my head on the pillow, knowing that I've done the right thing every day. I mean, have we all fractured an occasional law or two? I mean, we all speed, right? I mean, the speed limit's kind of like, it's a guideline, right? Florida, it's optional, like it's speed limit's one thing. That's a local order. I'm talking about like major crimes, like major fraud,
like real infractions that would cause damages and harm to other people.
But a lot of that is like the white supremacy mindset is always the present. Oh, I'm going to own the libs, and like the consequences of that, and it's like, I was thinking of like Bernie Madoff, where he was just like, oh, I'm just going to do this little fraud and then the market will correct. And then he does a bigger fraud. And then you get to this point where it's like, oh, all of his energy is covering up this fraud that he's done until he finally is like, oh, I'm caught.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, we can't even say that it's just the baby boomers.
Oh, because of course
not. Sam Friedman did it. Zuckerberg's been doing it. Peter Thiel. These are Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. Baby. But it's what it is. It's all people who have financial means to escape accountability.
Yeah.
It's not a generational thing. It's a class thing.
Oh,
it's definitely a class thing.
It's like an entitlement ideology.
Class, the Epstein class of individuals, these billionaires, are just corrupt fucking people. I'm not saying all of them are.
I think they all are. I think every person with that much wealth is.
Because there's people, Walter, that do a lot of good with their wealth and they donate. They're very philanthropic.
That's performative. That's just performative.
But no,
bullshit. I mean, look,
there are very wealthy people who live around me, okay, who are very generous with their money. It's not saying that they don't spend it on themselves, but they don't hurt people with their money.
I think the easy way to solve. I think the easy way to solve it though is we do a wealth cap, because then you never get to the point of monetary satisfaction where you stop being happy with anything that you have. The thing is, once you get to a certain point in money, is you can afford anything, so anything is possible. Like, there's nothing that can stop you, whereas a wealth cap would stop people from getting there. Like, I don't think inherently Taylor Swift, let's say, is bad. She's a performer, so yes, she is performative. Absolutely. And she was forced into a situation to buy the rights of her music back by someone else. And so I think she worked really, really hard to get where she was, and she does do a lot of good with her money. And she does take advantage
with it. She's not hurting anybody with it.
You know what?
She's I don't think she's trying to hurt people. And I think the difference is, yes, she makes a lot of money, and yes, she does feed off the capitalist system really well, and that system needs to go away. It's not her fault. I think there are certain billionaires that are not off limits, but are less damaging as a person rather than the billionaire part of it. Like, the billionaire part of it,
billionaires, my opinion,
we need to solve that. Nobody should ever have that much money. Like, nobody needs that much money. Nobody needs that much inherent power by themselves. Like, that's really the problem, is we've made it so that, because it, like Wajahat Ali likes to say, is like the true religion in America is capitalism and green. It's not white. It's not racism. Isn't the true motivation. It's greed. And the capitalist system has run amok and run away in the US and is hurting people.
Yeah.
And we've run so far away from a socialized democracy or even from like unionized capitalism, like market share capitalism where unions had power. We've gone so fucking far away from that it's just corrupted oligarchy systems.
I was just reading in the chat, Nick, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but like you've managed to piss off TikTok and the Swifties in the same week.
Hey, I'm a Swiftie.
I'm just gonna speak from integrity, but I've actually been thinking about
we speak from our hearts. I ain't mad that Walter thinks that all none of us are mad that Walter thinks all billionaires are evil.
Nick gonna piss off this week. Tune in on Thursday.
Yeah, what are they gonna do? They're not gonna cancel their subscription to my newsletter because they don't.
Yeah, they ain't listening to what I got.
Why do I care if they're mad?
Yeah. Why do I care? They don't have any influence.
But
what I'm saying. And they're not giving me any money. Like, hey, billionaires, here's an opportunity. You want to see a better. You want to see a better today and tomorrow? How about you donate and start subscribing to?
Get us unbanned. Get us unbanned from TikTok, billionaires. How about that? I'll change my tune if we can talk about election integrity on TikTok.
Yeah, well, we gotta get Larry Ellison the Ellisons out of there now, because fuck, like, what a I mean, I don't really care in the end. YouTube hasn't banned me,
so scary.
It's weird, but like my primary platforms don't seem to care. They're not restricting what I'm saying, so I'm not going to stop saying what I have to say, because y'all in the chat want to hear what we've got to say. You're here with us
right now.
Just
be happy you're not like an employee at CBS right now, having to look over your shoulder.
Oof.
Yeah,
I was though, based on what Eric was saying too, because I've been thinking about the whole wealth thing. Like there's people that if you work like as an educator for 50 years, and you're not like going out and getting drunk every weekend. I mean, you can get to the point where you have $1 million portfolio, if you're a reasonable, and it's like there is a path to, but that's not what we're talking about, and those are people too. And I see them out there, and there's people in that class. And I mean, Eric, you're a doctor. I know you do all these generous things, and you've spent all that effort building your practice. And that's the class of people we want. But there's that class that's above that who literally have enough economic power to stop all famine in the world. I mean, they really actually have that, and they maintain their wealth at the expense of all the people that die.
It's called fuck you money.
Yeah, that's it. We don't have that, and
basically
you don't have
called
that.
Fuck you money.
Yeah.
It's not even disposable wealth. It's fuck you money.
Yeah, like the thing is, like, if we eliminate the idea of fuck you money, that's money that isn't inherently earned in a lot of ways. It's just given, and
government,
or they steal it.
Or they steal it, and we should take it back because it's fucking ours. It's ours. Like, it's our money. We spent all this money, like the bombing in Iran, all of that shit that's going on there. That's our fucking money that hasn't been approved to do any of that. We didn't. We have not apportioned or approved the money to tomahawk a school full of fucking girls.
Yeah.
Right.
This country tells mothers to sacrifice their children. It never asks a bomb manufacturer to make a bomb for free. I mean, it's just this distance.
Oh, I think that's something I think. Now they just tell women, we're just going to arrest you if you leave the state and have an abortion, or you have a miscarriage through no fault of your own. But we find out about it, and we're just going to charge you with murder.
My question is, when an ICE agent shoots a pregnant woman, will then he be charged on the abortion laws? It's like it's
he should be.
Well, you see, but that doesn't even enter the dialogue.
They should be.
Per white Christian
nationalism, they wouldn't
even
charge him for the homicide. They just covered all up. But I mean, Nicole Good murder is still, nothing's happened with that. And had she been pregnant, would they be even? There wouldn't be any consequences for that either. We're not allowed to talk about these things.
Minnesota had to sue for
it's ongoing.
For the fucking documentation and evidence around those murders to get from the feds. Like the FBI aren't supporting the investigation, because in the history of DHS, no officer has ever been arrested for murder in the history. In the full history of DHS, nobody has ever been arrested for murder as an agent for like CBP, ICE. They don't get arrested and charged for those types of crimes. They have cover-up units that falsify evidence and move information so that it is not available and not correct, and that they get off free. And yeah, there's some great quotes going on.
Oh yeah, AJ North,
the chat. AJ North is putting in some incredible
that Eisenhower
quotes.
speech is wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, Eisenhower was amazing.
Oh, and like what Courtney said too.
He was to the left of AOC, by the way. I keep saying that to people because they do not believe it. I'm like, that's the same platform. Yeah. Yeah.
Like everything over the wealth cap that you could have donated that otherwise maybe you would have, but not everybody's going to give back. We shouldn't be relying on the generosity of others as a institutional system to support our democracy and our citizenship. We should be relying on the systems that we vote on to support us through services, which would mean anything over a certain amount of money goes right back into the social services that everyone has access to, and they would be the highest quality in the fucking world. Yeah, we would have so much fucking money. Yeah. Plus AI in all of its glory, if it doesn't pop, if the bubble doesn't break, and we do make a good breakthrough with AI, you know what? AI can produce wealth minimums. AI can help all of that money come back to the American people because it can do so much of the basic tasks and get them out of the way that we would otherwise be freed up to do creative and human tasks, because being a human isn't about working all the time. Being a human is about creating and exploring our humanity. We should have the freedom to explore the arts and our creativity and our humanities,
which they cut all the funding for.
Yeah, which they cut all the funding for because we are not autonomous worker bees. We are not a colony of ants. We do not have a hive mind. We are individuals who are in a collective system, building on that system together, and that requires a wealth minimum.
But in a lot of this, though, to get there, we have to overcome a lot of pro-wealth conditioning we don't even know we have. I mean, that's why I unapologetically say, they're just evil. And it's like wealth is evil. Wealth is white supremacy, and the whole hierarchy of that, the poverty shaming. There's that book, that author, Paul Vigna, the Almightier. He shows how it evolved since, Eric's giving me a hard time, but he showed how it evolved through through the biblical age, where we worship money, and we have to spend an equivalent amount of time and effort to counter that conditioning that makes us just inclined. We fall into the rut of our thinking without even knowing why. Well, gee, some of them are actually helpful. Nope, they're all bad. They have to go. We cannot save children from being raped unless we ensure they have the same economic power as everybody else. You want to stop child rape? It requires giving funds to these kids, making sure they have those protections. A system of protection is in place, and the wealth are going to be sacrificed.
No, go ahead, Walter. Finish.
Oh, I was done.
Okay. We're coming up on the holiday of Passover next week. And, what Walter just kind of said reminds me of the story of the Israelites as they left Egypt, right? They get to the Sinai. Moses leaves for 40 years, right? They go speak to the bush to have the tablets hand carved, and in that time frame, what did the Israelites do? They wound up making an idol out of gold, right? They started worshiping the money, right? Because they hadn't eaten, they're starving, they're whatever. They're in the middle of the desert, right? It's the Sam Kinison episode. You're in the middle. You live in a desert, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But then what happens is Moses comes down with the 10 Commandments, sees the idol, loses his shit, smashes the tablets, and is barred from ever entering the Promised Land, right? But why did he do that, right? Yes, the idol got destroyed, but Moses wound up destroying himself at the same time. Right? So, unfortunately, as a society, this worshipness that we carry for financial reward, okay, is the punishment. It really is. We don't have fulfilling lives if we're chasing monetary wealth. We're chasing the next influencer item that's on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. if we're rushing to Amazon to buy the next little trinket,
Yeah.
if anybody just wants like a little bit of a little funny, go on Amazon just for shits and giggles and search banana slicer.
Yeah, I know that one.
Read the comments. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's really, it'll put things in perspective. Like, this banana thing saved my marriage, stuff like that. Like, it's really funny. Like I couldn't get it doesn't work through the peel. Like, just like, so, like,
one of the things
really
though, what
funny
you
stuff.
said, I talked to Annalisa Brunner yesterday, and she was so clear about how we have been tricked into this false thing. What have we given up, And the thing that we've gained and what white supremacists have gained is this promise. Oh, one day you'll be rich and then you'll be the evil person with your pedophile island. Even though we didn't even if we got all the things that we were promised, we wouldn't be happy with them. But the caveat is we're never getting that, But if we can convey to people, you have surrendered all these good things in your life. What have you gotten in return? And you recognize it's nothing. And the movie Sinners keeps coming up. And, it's the vampires. A vampire can't come into your house unless you invite the vampire in, right? So everything about these vampires is tricking the people to be like, okay, come in. And we're past that point. We've already let them in. And they're killing us. And it's like, we have to remember, we have the power to just say, you can't come in. We have the power to make a completely different choice.
And I think the special elections that have gone on, the gubernatorial elections in New Jersey and Virginia last year, the special elections that just happened in my district
in Florida, where Democrats have just been winning.
Emily Gregory, by the way,
up and down.
Who I'm trying to get on a cast interview before she takes office.
Awesome.
And just basically like the momentum is there, right? We're showing that we have the power, and that's what's scaring the shit out of them. And this is the reality that we live in. Listen, we have no kings this weekend. Yeah. Not that the no kings rally is not going to solve all the problems.
Yeah.
But it's going to get your communities together. It's going to get your people together that live in the same community you are, that think the same way, that are mobilizing the same way, that are just as angry.
Yes.
Right. And I think if we had to characterize the year of the voter,
come on my screen.
Okay, that I think 2026 is the year of the angry voter, where party doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Where it's really not about political parties. It's about stop fucking up my life.
Yeah. We have to get that community, and we also have to, though, because there's going to be an effort soon to push back to like an ineffective status quo. And we have to be defiant about pushing to all these changes that Nick was just talking about before this, because this country didn't work 10 years ago. It didn't work 20 years ago. It hasn't worked my whole life. And we have to shake off a lot of these lies that have contributed to this corruption. It's institutional, and that's and they're going to try to make us forget that's the case. And Eric's is right, but they're going to try to make us forget our anger. Oh, now's the time to heal. Oh, they didn't mean that. They didn't mean, all those people are still dead. Doesn't matter what you meant. They're still dead. You can't bring them back.
Yeah. And listen, we're just,
I don't need it right now, buddy.
We have 50,000 troops in theater right now, with another 10,000 going, possibly more. There are going to be more body bags coming home, everybody.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, whether you support what's happening or not, more American service men and women are going to be coming home in draped, flagged coffins on C-130 transports. And at some point, Droopy Poopy Pants isn't going to be going to Dover anymore to honor those service members. Not that he ever really honored them in the first place.
No. And if he's going to be there, he's going to use the footage to do campaign and revenue money, which is, by the way, super fucking illegal to use. To use the death of our service members.
Made any difference 10 years ago.
He thinks he's above the law. It's so frustrating.
But I think we keep but you know what? We keep talking about the same things week in, week out with how this regime and the administration and the wealthy. At the end of the day, Nick, this is what led to my original question: is what the fuck do we do when we finally have power and we still have the DNC and the senior leadership in Washington calling the shots?
Yeah,
and it's not going to change unless they understand.
That's why I said we need to change the size of Congress. Because if we drastically increase the House of Representatives, and then maybe relook at the Senate and how that's set up, because that's old and antiquated and stupid. But if we immediately increase the size of the House of Representatives, it doesn't matter who the current senior leadership of the DNC is. There would be too many new people who come in out of nowhere who are just fed up Americans who are like, fuck it, I'll fucking run. And they do, and they'll win, and it would change because the party is us. They aren't the party. Right. And we can sustain the wins. We can sustain super quick wins too. We can get people in office very quickly who are running, who want to be there, who can press change, who can do things. And I know, like, I haven't talked a lot about Lev Parnas running for office. Do I think that felons should be able to run for office? I think that's a very complicated question because that has been used to institutionally suppress Black people and others from being able to run, and minority groups from being able to run for office, because they would make you a felon and then say, hey, oh, you can't run. You're not allowed to run. We arrested you for some stupid trumped up charge. That
or
being
drug
said,
possession charge
or drug possession or something, or something. I'll wrap this back to Lev Parnas because I think it's important. And you guys can agree, disagree. I would love everyone's feedback because I think it's important on this issue. I know Shane has a different opinion than I do. I know Senator Sherrod Swaney and Gavin Favorite, Senator America, have had Lev on for an interview, and we have a slightly different opinion too. And I think everybody needs to have their own opinions and form their own opinions. I think it's okay that Lev is running for Congress because the system allows him to. Do I think Lev has done some bad things in the past? Abso-fucking-lutely he has. Abso-fucking-lutely he has. I will not deny that. I will not sugarcoat any of that. I don't think the things he has done in the past are all his fault either. I think he was brought into a system and trained into it and made into it. And yes, he perpetrated it. He also had others who perpetrated things that were far worse than what he was doing. I think Lev right now in this moment could be and can be an important person for Congress because he's a wild card, because he knows us, because we're a part of his community. And he has built himself over the last, and it's okay. You guys in the audience may disagree with me too. I'm totally fine with that. I'm not.
People are being reasonable. I think everybody's saying reasonable things.
And I'm not. And I think everyone in our audience is very reasonable.
Yeah,
I think everyone in our audience has very reasonable opinions and is willing to share their opinions freely and openly in a constructive and reasonable way. And that's why I'm okay with sharing them here, because we are all constructive and reasonable people who want to bring things forward. And I think Lev has an opportunity to continue to prove himself. And why I say continue, because he has been working for the last years very openly, very blatantly, to correct a lot of the wrongs that he has caused. And he is working very hard to do it. And I can see the work that he's doing.
Yeah.
And I can see the support he's giving to other members in our community too.
That's critical,
like
right
Leonard. There. That's a critical.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
To me, that's critical. Is he is giving back and platforming folks in our community and building them up.
Walter, he's hopped into a few of my lives. I haven't talked to him.
And I've talked to Lev.
I want to go last on this because
yeah. And I totally want us to agree, disagree, have different opinions. I think it's okay that he's running for Congress, and I'm glad that he is. If he wins, good. That means he has convinced the people of his district that he is the best person to represent them in this moment. If the other candidate wins who is running, I also think that would be a good thing because they would say that he is the best candidate running. And I'm talking about the Democratic candidates, not the Republicans. If either one of those, if either Lev or his the challengers in the race that he has entered wins and beats what's her name? The current representative, Anna Maria Salazar. If they beat her, that's a good thing. And I think for me, I have no problem with Lev running because the system allows it to for a reason. And I think the idea that having felons not run, depending on maybe their crime, and that's where we can start talking
Scott
about
Perry's in the
how do we
goddamn Congress.
how do we fix and limit these things? How do we reduce the ability for real, like, impactful crimes that are, say, democracy busting or election busting or things like that? How do we make it so that those cannot, people who are convicted of certain types of crimes maybe can't run for office? Or, but then again, our system is built on, after your time is done, you're supposed to be reintegrated back into society. So it's hard to say that a felon shouldn't be able to run for Congress, because I think felons should be able to have the right to vote back, because I think it's disenfranchising for them to lose that right after they've served their full time.
So, Walter, do you have a opinion on this one, or?
Oh, please. I love opinions on this one.
I totally give him credit for platforming Ellie. But I haven't made my mind up about Lev yet because I haven't talked to him. When I talk to him, then I'll have opinions. And like Natasha said, there's some things I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Let me,
Walter, you and I, before you give your opinion, Walter, I'll try and set up a time with Lev to get you to be able to talk to him and do a candidate interview, because I think that would be, I think that's important, because, like I said, I approve of Lev running. I don't think it's a problem that Lev is running. In fact, I'm hopeful that he is being as honest and transparent as he says he is, because he has supported members in my community. He has supported my friends. He's supported me in ways. He's helped boost me. He gives me credit and props and talks about me, and he has shared my work. And I would love to make sure that when people form their opinions, it's after you have spoken to a person and got to know them and interacted with them. And that's why, Walter, I super appreciate the fact that you just said, I don't really have an opinion, like, because I haven't spoken to the guy. You've maybe read and seen his stuff, but you've never interacted with him. And it's hard to make an opinion on that sometimes. Eric?
Okay.
Eric has something to say.
So my thought is, I'm happy he's running. Okay. It's not my congressional district. Okay. I have had the opportunity to physically sit down with Lev face to face. You know, he lives 10 minutes from me, right? Lev has sat in that chair right there in my office. Okay. We broke bread over lunch. Okay. And I asked him a lot of very difficult, hard questions. We shot the shit a little bit. I asked him some very tough questions. You know, I read his book. I read his narrative. I know his whole story. Okay. We talked about his upbringing in Brooklyn. We talked about how he got involved with his partners and all the financial. I mean, you understand, Lev is not a guy that like grew up white collar, went to college, like these typical fucking white supremacist shitbags that think they know how to run the country. Okay. Lev grew up on the streets of Brooklyn. Okay. Lev grew up like a lot of immigrant families who first came to the United States, and they were not properly, they didn't have proper educations. They were not, you know, he learned how to be himself because of the way he was raised. Okay. And his formative years, he learned how to scramble, and he learned how to hustle. Okay. And the world has a place for people who know how to hustle. Okay. The problem is that he did get caught, right? He got caught doing some shit, laundering money back and forth through Ukraine. Okay, that got him busted by the FBI when they picked him up at Dulles Airport back in 2019 or whatever it was. Okay, upon his release from prison, okay, the man has never asked for a pardon. He's never even wanted to ask for a pardon. He has tried to be there for his family. And congratulations to Aaron and his wife for their delivery of their baby daughter last night. Congratulations, Mazel Tov.
Yeah, congratulations to the Parnasses, to Aaron and his wife.
Parnas family.
Absolutely.
and Love being a grandpa for the first time. That's an amazing feeling. Not that I would know that, but I mean, I'm hoping I'll get there at some point. But like at the end of the day, Lev's children and his family mean the world to him. You know, I mean, he drives in his car with a picture of his family on the left side of his dashboard. Like it's right there. Okay. So, you know, people show you on Substack who they want you to see. Okay. It's different when you sit across from somebody and they're fully exposed about what they're talking about, and they're probative, and you can see the facial expression and the nonverbal communication and everything else. So with that said, okay, legally, Lev is allowed to run for Congress. Legally, he is not allowed to vote in any election. He can't even vote for himself, everybody. Like, he legally cannot vote for himself in his own primary election for Congress, but he can vote on appropriation bills if elected and takes the oath of office and gets seated. Like, that's this. I mean, can we change the law at some point where maybe if you're convicted of a capital crime, you shouldn't be allowed to serve in Congress? If you're convicted of a white collar capital crime, like severe fraud, severe, defrauding of whatever it is, right? But
we can ask him those questions too.
Yeah.
Would he be willing to support a bill that would, in essence, prevent him from running again for Congress?
Well, he even said that he's not planning on making this a long-term career opportunity. He wants to go in there for two reasons. One is to get rid of Trump, right? And two, to get the people out that don't need to be there. Okay. And to fix the shit that's going on. So whether that takes him one term or two terms, I know he does not want to be there long-term. I specifically asked him that.
Yeah.
Okay. And
these are good conversations to have regardless of anything else that's going on.
And
so I appreciate that he's doing
every congressional representative or congressional candidate running for Congress. I know, Walter, you asked these questions on your shows with your Wisconsin delegations that are running. And these are important questions that we have to ask. And I really do think that our Democratic candidates need to be on this fucking platform.
Yes.
Meeting with all of us, speaking out, talking, having these live interviews, not the setup interviews on CNN or doing the setup interviews with Katie Fang. And I love Katie too. Don't get me wrong. Katie's in Miami. She's actually in Love's district. Okay. And then but we should have these substantive conversations and getting outside the normal mainstream media to get to understand where these candidates are and how they need to be vocalizing not just their policies, but the platforms and what they truly believe. Because what I love about Substack and what I love about what we do on this show, guys, is this is unadulterated, open-ended, not scripted. We are about as organic as it gets. Okay. And yes, I agree with Natasha. There's a lot more questions I have for Lev that he has not answered. Right. And whether I'm the one that asked them or other people ask them of him, he does need to answer as many questions as possible to be as open-ended as possible. Right. And we need our leaders and our future leaders to be as transparent as possible. Yeah. Not hiding money, not hiding what they're doing, not hiding their bullshit on the side. I mean, could I have 10 kids and bring them all into the government if I'm elected president and there's no rule that says I can't? And then the nepotism and the narcissism and the grift. We already have that. We're used to that by now. Right. I mean, but the thing is, we can't normalize this. This cannot be normalized anymore.
I think Lev could be super helpful in promoting a lot of these candidates that are being ignored by the legacy press, because he's got a bigger platform than I do, and he can put pressure on all these other networks that he's involved with. I'm been a little bit frustrated.
He's going to do that. He's going to travel nationally to a lot of these other districts. He said he's going to do that
a half hour from now. I mean, it doesn't have to be. I need to see it today is what it really comes down to with me, because it's like there's all these guys.
Right now, he's with his family enjoying his granddaughter, so you got to give him some time for that, because that's important.
You know what? A lot of people's granddaughters are sitting in ICE detention centers right now, and so it's sort of like let's get this fixed.
Actually, he's in DC, right? He is in DC right now. So
Aaron's in DC.
Yeah, he's in DC right now, so he may also be doing multiple things, not just with his.
But that's not just him either. That's the entire Substack community. I want to see more people promoting these candidates.
Yeah,
and here's the thing, everybody. I just as a final note, I know we're running up on the hour here, and I got to get the clinic. But listen, we should not be harping on somebody like Lev Parnas running for Congress when the Senate just approved Markway Mullen, a plumber without a bachelor's degree, with no national security experience, to run DHS.
Yeah.
Like, this is the last thing we should be complaining about, is Lev Parnas running for Congress.
Well, nobody was complaining. I think we were discussing
but you know what I mean.
But you're right. And but it's so frustrating. Fetterman voted that asshole.
We have the most incompetent administration in the history of the Republic. But I never thought I would say these two things in the same sentence. The most incompetent and corrupt in the same sense with the same administration. And we thought Nixon was bad.
Oh shit!
I mean,
Nobody
this
can
is
like all the president's men just makes you laugh now. It's like, oh yeah, that's
Right?
cute.
Oh, the Watergate Hotel gives a shit about that.
Oh, you lost some tape.
break-in.
You lost like
There's
10
nothing-
minutes of tape.
There's
Yeah.
nothing break-in of tapes, right? There's no big deal. You know, we're like grifting
Oh,
$10
man.
trillion out of the American
Fuck.
treasury without,
They got concentration camps where they're raping
Right.
little kids is what's going on right now. It's like Jesus fucking Christ. So
yeah,
yeah,
I just wanted everybody to know, and I have donated the maximum to his campaign. I have done that as an individual, okay, because that's how much I believe in the man that sat across from me. Okay, who was honest, that I, as much as I could read the man sitting in front of me. So
yeah, well, I'm willing to talk to
and
him.
I think
that's where I go.
Yeah, and I think that's really the important thing is I trust you, Eric. You've met him, and
I mean, the man texted me at 10:30 last night to let me know that his granddaughter was born.
That is sweet.
Yeah,
I'm happy for his joy. That's wonderful.
The fact, and two,
gotta enjoy.
She's a beautiful baby. She's really, for a baby, she's pretty. She's pretty baby.
And
there's ugly babies, and then there's pretty babies, and she's a pretty baby.
There's some potato babies out there. There's some odd shaped potato babies out there.
Yeah, congratulations.
Hopefully they all grow up, or whether they come out potato shaped or potato head or mushroom shaped or whatever. They all grow up in a world that sees peace and longevity and full of fruitful life, fruitful educations.
Yeah. We got to make it happen. We got to make it happen.
And and ultimately we want the same things that the Iranians want, that the most people around the world want, which is just let us live and be in peace with our children. We don't need war. We don't need strife. We don't need all this bullshit. And this is what this billionaire plutocratic shit causes us.
Yeah.
It's people who are ruining our lives and making decisions for us and fucking with our money and fucking with our national security, both on the military side, the border side, and health, making us poor, sicker, and stupider. Right, which is shit that people do not need. This is not what we signed on for.
Yeah, and like what's going on in the chat too is people are talking about like the baby needs to stay safe. Aaron's wife needs to be safe because this regime is targeting journalists,
everybody, and everything.
Speak out. And he's Lev's son. Aaron is Lev's son. Like that puts a target on his head, but it also means Lev has a lot to lose. Lev has a lot to lose.
Yeah, he's putting everything on the line right now.
He's putting everything on the line right now, and I think that's good. We've been demanding and asking people to step up who have money or influence or a position where they could do something, and he did. Like I'm not mad that he listened when we all said, "Hey, we need more people running. We need people running who might be able to do something, who have a powerful voice, who are part of a community that is willing to listen to us," because Lev's willing to listen to us. And as long as that continues, that type of behavior and growth and community oriented and family focused oriented growth is the end result, then that's what we want. We want our country to progress forward. So
I feel like we're going so far backwards some days.
Yeah.
Some days it feels like we're taking 15 steps backwards.
We're going so far back, and all I want to do is go forward. All I want to do
That's
is
all we want to do.
We all
have an infinite amount of time on this planet.
Or finite.
Finite.
We're finite, excuse me. Oh, screw you, Walter. I plan on living forever.
I'm right there with you. If I can make it happen, I will, my friend.
We all have a finite amount of time on this planet. Like I just turned 55. I realize that I have less years in front of me than behind me. I am aware of my mortality.
Yeah. It becomes
and
more obvious.
Oh yeah, it does. especially with my last one finally going to college over the summer.
Boy.
So yeah. Anyway, so it's one of these things where I want to have just peace in my life. Like major mistakes that occur, I don't want those in my life at this point. They're harder to recover from.
Yeah.
That's why the way I vote, the way I do my job, the way I make decisions with patients, the way I make decisions with money and family and with my wife, and those screaming kids in the back are just killing me right now. I'm just kidding. Those little rat bastards. You know, and like it just things become, and I understand how older Americans get more conservative because they have it's a bigger risk as you get older to lose things. But I'm also looking at what the younger generations are losing, like how Gen Alpha and Gen Z have lost, in particular Gen Z, the years they lost because of COVID, and how that's affected these men, these younger men, these, you know, and they've lost the ability to communicate to women and to not have open emotional conversations with women, to be able to connect to people. It's just sad. And that's why we did this show, because our sick friend couldn't show up again today. You know, yeah. So if Evan's sick, everybody. So
Evan's sick today. We didn't kick him out.
Yeah.
You know, we wish him better, and hopefully he gets his azithromycin and feels better tomorrow. But
yeah,
you know, better living through pharmacology.
Yeah.
All right, we're at the top of our hour,
Yeah.
and Eric's got work to do.
Yeah,
I've got another interview here in about 20 minutes with Joe Walsh. Doing intelligent masculinity with Joe Walsh today.
Tune into the wild man, Joe Walsh, the social contract with Joe Walsh.
And so let's do this final thing. Promote ourselves.
Hey Nick, do me a favor. Do me a favor when you talk to Joe, okay?
Yeah.
Have him give you the link to who he interviewed, Rachel, who's Gen Z. He did a phenomenal interview with her today, and didn't have her stuff posted on his stream page. So if you could get that from him, because she was amazing today. She's somebody we got to interview.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I will talk to him.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can get that from him.
Yeah, because that was a great interview he did with her today.
That's such a weird cover. I don't like that. All right, let's do this. Let's promote ourselves. So everybody knows where they can find us. I'll start first. Find me here at Sick of the Shit Publications. Come become a paid or free subscriber at Sick of the Shit Publications. We are actively growing larger, continuing to have some incredible discussions. Like I said, we've got great interviews lined up. We are talking about really important things. We're pushing back with each other. We're having open conversations about congressional candidates, what we need to do, trying to plan for the future so that when it comes time for us to actually take power back here soon, we have the plan in place, because we can't be fumbling around. We can't fumble this football. We've got one chance left. So come help me do that. Help build our community influence so that we can continue to make ourselves known, but also get ourselves into the areas where we have the influence. Yeah. Just suck less. We're Sick of This Shit Publications. Just suck less. You can get our water bottles at the Sick of This shop right over Eric's head.
Just can't get it on TikTok. Just can't get it on TikTok.
Yeah, you just can't get it on TikTok because we're not allowed there right now. Yeah. We've been banned from TikTok for a little while because they don't like it when we talk about elections, because fuck you.
Well, you can talk about elections. You can't mention election fraud.
Oh yeah, we can talk about election integrity.
Give him the F word.
We said integrity.
We said fraud. Oh yeah, I don't even think Walter said fraud. I think he said integrity or something.
Oh, that's even worse.
I will stand by being banned for.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand by being banned because of Walter. Yeah. I love it. So yeah, come join us.
Stand by being banned. Yeah,
I stand by it. So come join us where we get banned on TikTok for saying truth, because fuck you, TikTok.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. And next, come support my friend Walter Ryan. Promote yourself.
Oh, thank you guys. It's always my great privilege to talk with the two of you fine, upstanding gentlemen. I appreciate it. I love you guys. I like the support. It makes a big difference. It's made a huge difference in this last couple of years. It wouldn't have been possible. So thank you. And come and read my stuff that I'd rather be writing. And I don't expect anybody to read all of it because there's too much. Even I can't read it all, and I've created. So, but I just love to have you there. Appreciate it. That's it. Thank you. Oh, what's going on in the background? Something happening?
Why are we having air raid?
Having the air raid.
Because of me?
Coming soon to Iran near you.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Coming soon to Karg Island.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. You guys can find me here on Substack, Dr. Eric Lulov, and you can find me here at Dr. Lulov. You can also find my stuff on Blue Ant Media, to my medical policy writings, my really dry technical writing, if you're more interested in that. We didn't do art or poems today, but that's okay. right?
No, that's okay. We'll do it next week.
Right.
We'll try and work things in.
We
I
need a
got my
theme for
Frederick
next week.
Pohl poem.
Yeah, we need a theme for next week. We'll
We
do
do
that.
that.
We'll work on a theme for y'all for next week.
Yeah. But anyway, it was great seeing everybody. Thanks so much for joining in today, and appreciate my two brothers in arms here with our missing third leg.
Hey, it happens. It happens. Sometimes
happens.
sometimes we're a three-legged stool and not a chair.
Hold you guys up.
Yes. Although I'll be here
Walter's
next week,
holding
but
us
I
up.
will be out. Remember, next week is Passover. If you celebrate Passover, everybody have a Zazen Pesach for those of you that celebrate Passover next Wednesday night. I will be out of town on April 9th, guys. I will not be on the show, so I will be in Charlotte. If I can, I'll check in. I'll be remote. So
sounds good.
Okay.
Thanks, y'all.
Travels.
Hey, thanks everyone in the chat. Have a great day. We'll see y'all again next week for the Diogenes Club.
Peace.
Later.